Breaking news, the shocking truth behind Yandy Smith's ICU emergency. Nobody saw this coming. Yandy Smith, the queen of hustle and the very definition of strength, is now fighting for her life in the ICU. But here's where things take a bizarre turn. Despite doctors initially claiming her condition was critical, they suddenly reversed course, saying she was improving. No explanations. No details. Just a vague assurance that everything was fine. Something isn't adding up. Fans are in shock. Close friends are demanding answers. And the entire love and hip-hop community is buzzing with whispers of a cover-up. Could it be that someone doesn't want the truth to come out? Is there a scandal lurking behind those hospital doors? And most importantly, what are the doctors hiding? A night of glamour turns into chaos. Hours before the emergency, Yandy was living her best life at a high-profile industry event in Atlanta. Surrounded by celebrities, influencers, and executives, she was in high spirits, laughing, networking, and taking pictures. Everything seemed completely normal. Then, something changed. Around 1:30 a.m., witnesses noticed a shift in Yandy's energy. She became distant, distracted, holding her stomach like she was in pain. Moments later, she collapsed. Panic erupted. Drinks spilled. People screamed for help. Security rushed in, clearing the area as paramedics arrived. By the time she was loaded into the ambulance, she was barely conscious. And that's when things got even weirder. The silence that raised suspicion. As soon as news of Yandy's hospitalization hit the internet, social media exploded. No way, Yandy was just fine earlier. What happened? Somebody better start talking, because this don't make sense. Praying for Yandy, but why is nobody saying what's wrong? Cryptic messages from celebrities started flooding in, prayer emojis, vague well wishes, but no real information. And that's when people started getting suspicious. By 3 a.m., Yandy had been moved to the ICU. That's when her husband, Mendices Harris, got the call. He dropped everything and raced to the hospital. But when he arrived, all he got were rehearsed lines from hospital staff. The doctors are doing everything they can. Please have a seat. His wife was fighting for her life, and that was all they had to say? Uninvited guests and unanswered questions. As the hours passed, more unexpected faces showed up at the hospital. Some made sense, like Kim Bella, Yandy's longtime friend. But then Erica Mena walked in. Wait, Erica Mena? Everyone knew Yandy and Erica had never been on the best of terms. So why was she there? And it didn't stop there. Industry insiders who hadn't been around Yandy in years started arriving. Outside, reporters swarmed. Paparazzi cameras flashed. And at exactly 4:07 a.m., something even stranger happened. A doctor stepped into the waiting room, whispered something to Mendices, and his entire demeanor changed. 1 second, he was panicked. The next, he was furious. He stormed out of the hospital, phone in hand, yelling. "What do you mean? That doesn't make sense. How is that even possible? What did they tell him? Who was on the other end of that call? A cover-up in the making? If Yandy was really getting better, why did the hospital suddenly increase security? Why were nurses and doctors dodging questions? Why was nobody giving a straight answer about what actually happened?" And then, Mendices disappeared. One moment, he was pacing outside on the phone. The next, he was gone. Rumors spread like wildfire. Was Yandy poisoned? Was this something more personal? Who had something to gain? By 5 a.m., the tension in the hospital reached a breaking point. Rich Dollaz arrived, followed by Chrissy Lampkin. Yes, Chrissy. The same Chrissy who went toe-to-toe with Yandy in some of Love and Hip Hop's most explosive fights. The same Chrissy who once swore she'd never be in the same room as Yandy again. When Rich and Chrissy walked in, the room went cold. Erica, already on edge, snapped. "What the hell are y'all doing here?" Rich stepped forward, calm but serious. "Same reason you are, I need answers." The conversation exploded into accusations, suspicions, and a tense back and forth. But then, Mendices returned. And he looked shaken. Pale. Eyes red. Like he had just seen a ghost. Rich stepped forward. Yo, what's going on? What did they tell you? Mendices swallowed hard. His voice was low, but his words hit like a bomb. They're lying to us. The truth starts to unravel. The entire room tensed. Kimbella's voice wavered. Wait, what? Who's lying? About what? Mendices ran a hand over his face, his frustration boiling over. The doctors. The hospital. They're not telling us the full truth. Chrissy, despite everything, looked genuinely concerned. That don't make sense. Why would they move her and not say why? Rich's expression darkened. Because they're covering something up. And then, he said it. This wasn't an accident. The room froze. Kimbella's mouth dropped open. What are you talking about? Rich leaned in, lowering his voice. Yandy was fine all night. Then, out of nowhere, she collapses? That don't sit right with me. Mendices shook his head. You think someone did this to her? That doesn't make sense. Who? Rich's jaw tightened. The real question is, who had something to gain? And that's when things took a terrifying turn. Because the answer was closer than anyone expected. Rich took a deep breath. Then, finally, he said it. Judy. Silence. Mendices blinked. My mother? Rich didn't waver. She's been talking reckless about Yandy for months. And now, out of nowhere, Yandy is in the ICU under mysterious circumstances? Do the math. Mendices shoved Rich. Shut the hell up. That's my mother. She might not like Yandy, but she'd never. Chrissy cut in, arms crossed. Wouldn't she? Last time I checked, she was running her mouth about how Yandy was taking you away from her. Some people see threats and eliminate them. And then, like clockwork. Mendices' phone rang. The name on the screen made his stomach drop. Judy. He hesitated. The whole room held its breath. Slowly, he answered. Ma. Her voice was shaky. Baby, we need to talk. His grip tightened. Talk about what? A deep breath. Then. I didn't mean for this to happen. The room went cold. Mendices' voice was barely above a whisper. Didn't mean for what to happen? Ma, what did you do? Judy broke down. I just wanted her to slow down. To stop making you choose between me and her. I never meant for her to get hurt. Mendices felt like the floor was collapsing beneath him. Ma, you drugged my wife? Judy was sobbing now. I didn't know it would go this far. And just like that, it was war. Mendices turned to the group, his eyes blazing. She's going to pay for this. And then, a doctor finally walked in. Mr. Harris, we need to talk about Yandy's condition. Mendices stepped forward. Is she awake? Is she okay? The doctor hesitated. She's stable. But, there are complications. And that's when they realized. This nightmare was far from over.